Can you solve this? Let's see how much you know, because if you are good in geometry, you should be able to figure it out. What we have here is a four-sided polygon. This includes 5, 4, and 3. The secret to solving the question is not by taking the whole figure as one big quadrilateral. So what can we do? We have to split it this way. If you notice, we now have two triangles after this quadrilateral has been splitted. This is one triangle and this is another triangle. Now, let's get back to the symbols right here. This symbol and this one. What does it mean? It symbolizes that this angle here is a right angle triangle. That is angle 90 degrees. Likewise, this angle here too. It is a right angle triangle, which is also angle 90 degrees. So what we have here is two right angle triangles. We have angle right here and also have another angle here. Why is it important? It is because anytime you have a right angle triangle, you can use what we call Pythagorean theorem, which says that a squared plus b squared gives you c squared. And this is called the Pythagorean theorem. It is a law, basically the way to find the answers to a right angle triangle. So if we have two sides of a right angle, we can basically solve for the third side, because if you notice here, we have two right angle triangle here, this one and this one. And for this right angle triangle, this particular one, we have the two sides, the opposite and the adjacent. Automatically, the hypotenuse was not given. So we are going to make use of the Pythagorean theorem to find the hypotenuse of these two right angle triangle. So in this quadrilateral that we've already splitted to have two right angle triangle, have only one side given. Here, there's only three that is given, and we are first to find the s. Hypotenuse is not given. But in this right angle triangle, 5 is given, 4 is given, and we are asked to find the hypotenuse. So to solve this and to be able to find out the value of s, we are going to make use of this Pythagorean theorem. Hence, before we get into the actual solution, let's quickly go ahead and do a quick review of Pythagorean theorem. Let's take an example using the above right angle triangle, whereby we have notations. This is a right angle triangle, and this is also a right angle triangle. And this side of this right angle triangle is 3, and the other side is 4. All we have to do is to solve for s, and which is the longest side of this right angle triangle, and this is called the hypotenuse. And it is also opposite to the right angle, which is angle 90 degrees, and that's why it is the hypotenuse. This is really important as we apply the Pythagorean theorem. The longest side is the c. That's the Pythagorean theorem, which says a squared plus b squared is equals to c squared. This is the a squared, and this is the b squared, and this is the c squared. The longest side here is the hypotenuse. So this is the Pythagorean theorem. And what does it mean? It means the square of a will be added to the square of b, which will be equals to the square of the c. Hence, let's apply it to solve the triangle question above. Let's solve this. So if we apply this formula to solve this question here, what are we going to have? We're going to have a squared plus b squared, which gives us c squared. And a squared here is 3, therefore 3 squared plus b squared here is 4, therefore we have 4 squared, which will give us c squared. 3 squared is 3 multiplies 3, which gives us 9, plus 4 squared is 4 multiplies 4, which gives us 16, which is equals to c squared. When 9 adds to 16, we have 25, which is equals to c squared. The next thing is to square both sides of this equation. And if we square both sides, we will now have root 25, which is equals to square root of c squared. So this square root, we cancel out this square, and then square root of 25 gives us 5, which is equals to c. Therefore, the value of c is equals to 5. And this is what Pythagorean theorem states. S is equals to 5. If we understand this question that we just solved, we can now solve our original question. Here, we have a right angle triangle that is made up of a, b, and c. A squared plus z, which is equals to c squared. And this a, this is b, and this is c. So a squared plus b squared will give us the value of our s for this particular triangle. And already the value of a is given, the value of b is given. So let's find the value of c. But we now have squared plus 5 squared to be equals to s squared. 4 squared is 16, 5 squared is 25, 5, which is equals to s. That has to us 41, which is equals to, the next is to square both sides of this square. We have square root of 41 is equals to square root of s squared. This square root, we cancel out this square, and we now have our s equals to root 41. So this is the length of the hypotenuse in this particular triangle. Now, let's use the information to solve the other triangle. Before we continue, please, if this is the first time you are coming across my video, kindly subscribe, comment, click the notification button for you to be able to be notified whenever we drop amazing videos. Always tune in at your convenient time because I'm sure you will always see something pleasing to watch. So since we have gotten the hypotenuse of one right angle triangle, we need to focus on the other right angle triangle. This time we have the hypotenuse and we also have 3 here. So we'll be looking for this s here. Using the Pythagorean theory that says a squared plus b squared is equals to c squared. Note, you will always need to identify which side is c. And the side facing the right angle triangle is the c, which is the hypotenuse. So if we make use of this Pythagorean theorem to solve in order to get the value of our s, we now have 3 squared plus s squared to be equals to root 41 squared. Therefore, 3 squared is something as 9. This is 41. This is because this square root, we cancel out this square. The thing to do is to subtract 9 from both sides. We do that, we have 9 subtract 9 plus s, which is equals to 41 subtract 9. If we subtract this we cancel out. We now have s squared to be equals to 41 subtract 9 to give us 32. The next thing to do is to square both sides of this equation. And if we square the both sides, we have square root of s square is equals to square root of 32. This square root, we cancel out this square. We now have s to be equals to square root of 32. This is currently the correct answer. However, we have a situation here. So we are not allowed to leave our square root unsimplified. So the next thing we are meant to do is to simplify this square root in order to settle this situation. So since s is equals to root 32, if you want a decimal calculation, you can take out your calculator and solve out. However, if your teacher will not allow you to make use of your calculator, therefore, we can simplify this further. So the square root of 32 is equals to square root of 16 multiplied 2. And remember, if you multiply this 16 and 2, you will also have your 32. This means that we've broken down this 32 into its individual factors. Root 16 multiplied root 2 can be written as root 16 multiply root 2. Thus, we can break them into their individual factors. Since they are together here, this root is take out of them. So our final answer will now be square root of 16 will give us 4, which multiplies root 2. So this is our final answer. So if you get this right, I will give you a smile and an A+. But if you do not get it, I will still give you a very big smile for following the video to the end. Please don't forget to subscribe on the notification button because we'll be dropping more amazing videos. Always tune in at your convenient time because you must see something interesting to watch. Thank you.